Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today to remember one of the greatest musicians of modern music history. I am currently speaking about Nate Dogg, one of hip-hop's pioneering soulful voices and iconic figures that has been in the spotlight for 20 years. While we fell in love originally with his deep, soulful melodies on his West Coast hip-hop tracks for artists such as Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Warren G., it was Nate Dogg's amazing attitude and steadfast principles that made him the success that he had become. A man founded on principles and faith, Nate Dogg overcame much in his life to get where he was. He learned very important lessons along the way through the mistakes that he has made, and that made him a much better person, someone that we should all be able to look up to. Pioneering a style of hip-hop known as G-Funk, Nate Dogg really took over the industry, and most of the G-Funk songs that Nate Dogg made followed a bit of a pattern, and it was a type of pattern that can actually be used or seen as a metaphor for Nate Dogg's life. The songs would start off with a very slow, minimal beat, very repetitive, seemingly stagnant. And Nate also, he had a slow beginning. He was a good student, son of a pastor, joined the Baptist choir. And as he got older in high school, he grew up in South Central Los Angeles. He fell in with gangs, and he dropped out of school, lost all motivation, left the choir, and it seemed as though his life as well was stagnant and repetitive and very minimal existence. He wasn't going anywhere. Eventually, this lifestyle sent him to jail for weapons charges, and it was here that Nate Dogg vowed to reform his ways. This self-determination that he exemplified was a characteristic that would be seen in Nate Dogg for the remainder of his career. He was never the type of person that allowed other people to tell him otherwise. He didn't allow other people's opinions to affect what he did or how he went about his business. His unwavering belief in himself and what he was doing, he proved all the critics wrong, and he became an icon. And after this slow intro to these songs, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to hear a loud, angry West Coast rapper rapping about the West Coast life of crime and guns and girls. And this hectic, chaotic mess was also relates to a point in Nate Dogg's life as well. After he began with his G-Funk CD and his solo career, he began to take off. And then he was offered a record deal with Death Row Records, a very famous record label. But it was during this time that Nate Dogg actually was very constricted and suppressed as an artist and as a person. Under Suge Knight, the CEO, Nate was financially bullied, creatively bullied into doing what he was told, and he wasn't able to truly express himself. At the end of his contract, he was up for another one, and he had two options. He was able to stay with Death Row Records, making actually an exorbitant amount of money, or he was able to leave, rap and sing with his friends, and do what he wanted to do, but on his own terms and no guaranteed money. And it was in this decision that we were really able to see what type of man Nate Dogg was, seeing as though he decided to choose the latter. I believe this to be a testament to his character. Nate Dogg chose loyalty to himself and his friends and fans over the drawing attraction of money. This shows that Nate Dogg is the type of person that can be admired. I wish that I could display the strength and courage that he exhibited during this very trying time daily in my life. After the abrasive rap verse, we begin to hear a change in song and melody, and we begin to hear the glorious sound of Nate Dogg's voice. The deep baritone soothes the audience, using pure emotion to convey the vicious and harsh tones of the song. The drowsy, calm sound of his voice drifting you off to a dream world. And at the end of his career, Nate began suffering many health problems, which would eventually end his career and ultimately end his life. Being the selfless person that he was, he chose to keep the severity of his condition private to his family and his very closest friends. Only the closest knew him, knew the severity of this disease, and this is another attribute or testament to his character. He showed bravery and selflessness in this time of hopelessness. He didn't want to upset and alarm his friends and family that didn't need to know, and he stayed strong during his time of need for the sake of others around him, and that's really says something about him as a person. That he's willing to, even in this desperate, trying time, he decides that, you know what, it's other people that should still be protected over me. I don't want them to be upset. And that's really an amazing thing. And while gone, this man who impacted the lives of many and showed us that people can truly change and do great things will never, ever be forgotten. Thank you very much and have a nice day.